Okay, well today is August 8th, 2012. Back with my mom again here and have a few more questions for her. I want to talk about how you met Dad a little bit, just the first time you met him. And
I met Bill, must have been probably in 1954, 55. I had been living in Texas for a while, and because my father passed away in St. Louis, my mother moved back to Seattle, so I left Texas and came up to Seattle to be with her. And I started working for a short time at Boeing downtown, and got to know some people down there. And there was one friend that I met, and she had been going out with a man, and she said she didn't think she wanted to continue going out with him, and asked if I wouldn't like to meet him and go out with him. So he sounded very nice, so I did, and we did, and so we went out together for a while, and for several years, and then I had to leave Seattle to go back to New York and be with the Angel Airs. It's a 5-harp group, and we toured the United States for 2 years back there, all over. And in the meantime, I kept writing to Bill, and we kept in good touch that way. And so that went on for a couple of years. At the same time, I had gotten to know another fellow when I was living here in St. Louis, or in Seattle with my mother. So I eventually decided to leave the Angel Airs and come back to Seattle. And when I did, I ended up with both fellows, so to speak, which got a little bit complicated, and so I did have to do some more traveling. And I know when I came back to Seattle one time in particular, they both wanted to meet me at the airport, and that got rather complicated. And I had to make up an excuse for one of them, to tell them that my family was going to meet me, and my time was uncertain. I wasn't sure what time I'd get in or anything, and I just called them when I got in. And the other one I let go ahead and meet me at the airport, which they did. So that's how I think Bill was the one that came to meet me at the airport.
Okay, I was going to say,
he was more persistent in everything he did.
Yeah, I was going to say, which one did you pick to come to the airport?
No, it was Bill.
Yeah.
And I guess as far as when we decided to get married, we did quite a lot of dating quite often, and he just seemed to assume we were going to get married, and that's the way it worked out.
So he didn't get down on one knee and
no, actually,
present you with a ring?
It sort of came up when we were eating.
Okay.
We were having dinner out, and he just brought up and said, well, I think maybe we ought to plan the wedding for whatever date or a month. And I said, oh, well, yes, although we felt very close to each other by that time.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and did that, and that was it. And there was no formal, will you marry me, but just more assuming that we would. And of course it was wonderful. Had some wonderful years together.
Yeah. So how long did you get married after you met?
We met, let's see, I left Texas probably in 54, probably about 3 or 4 years after when I came up here, and we dated because I was going back and forth touring with the Angel Airs, and then being in Seattle, and then going back to meet them in New York or wherever we were flying. So there was a period of time there.
Okay.
And it's hard to remember exactly number of years. You think at the time you live it, I'll never forget it, but then so much goes on. Sometimes you do.
Why you waited? You were born in you were married in 56, and I was born in 63. Why did you wait so long?
Well, actually, we wanted to have children as soon as possible, so we started trying right away. And but of course nothing happened. But I did go to the doctor, this one doctor in particular that my grandmother had recommended to me, and went, and he was able to help me conceive,
Okay.
because I wasn't, evidently there was a problem with the size of conceiving and all, so
Yeah.
he worked that out for me, so
Okay.
it ended up I
Good.
was able to get pregnant.
Okay, well,
Thank
great.
goodness.
Yeah. So if it had happened right away, I'd be 7 years older, 6
Yeah,
years
just
older.
be glad you're younger
than
now.
I am now,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then of course once you came, then Barbara right away, and
Yeah.
then Scott.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop. So
Right,
it was
right.
Just,
Yeah,
getting it started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were one after the next.
Yeah.
I have a lot of, I have a lot of Dad's pictures now in my possession. A lot of them are the two of you at the ocean, and it's just the two of you.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And so, did you guys go to the ocean a lot before I was born in those
Yes, we did.
Because there's tons of pictures.
Yeah, yeah, and then we also went up to Salda quite a lot,
Yeah.
but I don't remember just when we started that. It must have been probably after your kids
Yeah.
were born because of the swimming.
Okay.
You could
Yeah, I have
enjoy that.
Yeah,
more.
my last question is actually that we love going to Salduck as a family, and I was going to ask you if you remembered your first trip there, and if it was before I was born.
I remember
So, yeah.
that pretty well. They were all the same actually.
Yeah.
Because we rented a cabin and
Yeah.
stayed in there, and
Yeah, this was before
everything was about the same that we did.
Yeah, everything was before the camper
Yeah.
that Dad built.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Although we did use it in the cabin for a while.
Yeah.
We rented a cabin, but then we got to the other way of doing things,
Yeah.
which was nice. So.
Yeah. What did you think of the house after it was built?
Oh,
and,
wonderful!
you
Yeah,
moved in?
that's
Was
another thing. When Bill and I met, he had started to work on the house,
Yeah.
and he was going to build it to sell it, make money. That's the reason
Oh,
for it. It was
okay.
not to live in at all.
Oh, I thought it
That's
was.
right. I
okay.
forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I never knew that. I thought he
Oh.
built that with the idea that that would be
But
your.
then we met, you
home
see,
and-
when he was doing it, and so
Yeah.
we were going together all that time when he was
Yeah.
working on it. It ended up, that's
Yeah.
what we ended up living there. But originally it was an investment for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Okay.
planning on living there.
Did he ever ask you to help, like come
Oh,
and
yeah.
paint for a day?
Yes, he wanted me to
Something?
help, which I did come. I
Yeah.
was not very good at doing any of those pounding and so forth.
Yeah.
Although I never did hit my finger, but, but I did
Yeah.
what I could. Because
Yeah.
he had made a pretty good start in the
Yeah.
house by the time we
Yeah.
were together. But that was his main concern, to sell it and make money. Changed his mind.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I
Always-
thought maybe you knew that. Yeah.
No, I never knew that. That's a surprise.
Yeah, that's an investment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for
Well,
today.
that's fine. Mhm.
So,
Thank you.
okay.
All right. I'm trying to think, I can't think of anything interesting.